Hi, my name is Tochi. Welcome to this video. Hello, welcome to this video. My name is Tochi. I want some sriracha. Hello, welcome to this video. My name is Tochi. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a very special apple pie. Very special apple pie. Very special apple pie. Very special apple pie. Today, I'm going to show you step by step how to make a very special apple pie. It's special for a number of reasons, but this video in particular is focused on how to deal with people who don't know how to mind their business. Here are the items and ingredients you're going to need for today's recipe. Those who don't know how to mind their business includes, but is not limited to, people who share their unsolicited negative opinions about you, consciously project their insecurities onto you, make bitter assumptions about you. The list is endless, but I'm sure you understand where I'm going with this. People with the traits I just mentioned tend to have a number of hidden insecurities. Sometimes they're obvious, sometimes they're not. These insecurities are represented by these 3 apples. For this portion of the recipe, you're going to need a cutting board, a sharp knife, and something to peel the skin off the apples because at the end of the day, they can't cover up the insecurities with a facade forever. You're going to need 2 bowls. One of the bowls is to mix the apple's ingredients, and the other we're going to use to dispose of the apple's skins. Now, you're going to want to cut your apples so that you can remove the pits and the skin. I find it easier to remove the pits when I cut the apples into 4 large chunks first, and to remove the skin, I cut those large chunks into half. You can do it any way that feels best for you. When it comes to unlayering the facades that insecure people have to attempt to cover up their toxic interior, you want to do it in a way that's best and easiest for you. When you finish that, you want to dispose of the peeled skins and rinse the apples. These apples serve as the base for the apple pie, so you can slice them however you want. I like to chop mine up into little bits. I find that it makes for a more enjoyable edible experience. People who consciously project their insecurities onto others tend to feel small and insignificant. They make themselves feel good by making other people feel less than. It's good to remember this because now you know that they're not the glossy, shiny apple they pretend to be or that they try to be. They're little pieces of exposed apple that depend on other ingredients to be considered a pie. When it comes to how much sugar and cinnamon to use for the base of the pie, it really comes down to your taste palette. I like to use about 1 to 2 tablespoons of sugar and about 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. Mix the sliced and diced apples, sugar and cinnamon together. I prefer using my hands. It makes me feel like I'm really getting in there. People who don't mind their own business tend to do so because they're disconnected from their own truth. That's why they spend precious time trying to interfere with others' truths. If anyone watching this feels like they suffer from the inability to mind their business, using your hands to mix up these ingredients can serve as a friendly reminder that it's okay to connect with your truth and genuinely align with the positivity around you. The sugar, the cinnamon, it's there. You just have to allow yourself to interact with it. Embrace it. Now, we're going to butter down the baking pan and get started with making what will be the pie's crust. Now would also be a good time to begin preheating your oven. You want it to be at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Pour your apple mixture into the buttered pan and spread them out as evenly as you can across the pan's base. People who make negative assumptions about you are probably doing so because they're threatened by a sense of self. Don't allow their weakness and inability to exercise self-love onto themselves to get to you. Continue to shine like a buttered down baking pan. Rise like the heat should be in your now preheating oven. Now, for the crust, we're going to be mixing all the remaining ingredients into a bowl. Starting off, we have our 1-ish cup of sugar. Then we're going to break down our walnuts into small pieces. I like to use a pestle and mortar, but you can use anything. You can put the walnuts in a bag and break them up with a rolling pin, or you could go with a blender. Use whatever method works best with you as long as they get chopped up and broken down. Maybe if the same people who make negative assumptions about others focused on breaking down and unpacking themselves, they wouldn't have so much free time to highlight that they're envious that other people are able to love themselves and all their layers. Next, we're going to pour the chopped walnuts into the mixing bowl. Then we're going to add our cup of flour. In my opinion, flour is like the kingpin of baking ingredients. What is a pie without flour? What is growth without acknowledging your toxic traits? We all have the ability to be toxic. What's important is to acknowledge this and do the intentional work on ourselves to become better people. Next, into the mixing bowl is our 1 egg and cup of butter. The original recipe calls for 3/4 cups of butter, but I find that the juiciness of 1 whole cup takes it from great to greatest. Next, we're going to mix all these ingredients together until it's a smooth paste with bits of walnut. It'll take the ingredients a second to merge and bind. You want to start off slow to avoid the flour flying everywhere. This is the same way we should be intentional and take the time to understand the various ingredients that create the flavor of who we are. People who hate on others tend to ignore and neglect different parts of themselves that need to be worked on. Don't be like them. Don't neglect yourself. You're better than that. Next, we're going to smooth out our mixture on top of our apples. I like to use my hands for this because it allows for me to have more control. Once you're done, it's time to put your pie in the oven for 45 minutes. There's a lot that can be done whilst you wait. You can clear up the workspace, put your leftover ingredients away, wash the dishes, and if this applies and you're one of those people who are more interested in building opinions about other people's lives rather than focusing on the screws that need to be tightened in yours, you can do some basic research on how to better yourself. After about 40 minutes, I like to check and see how my apple pie is doing, to make sure everything is bubbling, baking, looking and smelling grand, good and great as it should be. With the remaining 5 minutes left for the pie to bake, this is a great time to drink some water. For the people that make bitter, judgmental assumptions about others, the next time you feel negativity brewing within you, there are a number of ways you can reel in some positivity. You could exfoliate your skin, burn some incense, drink some water. In fact, drink a lot of water. Take your pie out of the oven at 45 minutes or until it's golden brown. If you want to eat it right away, I highly suggest waiting about 10 to 15 minutes for it to cool down. You can eat it by itself, or you can pair it with other things like ice cream, custard, or tea. You can eat it alone. I've finished an entire pie by myself before. Or you can share it with a friend. One of the great things about this recipe is that it's short, quick, and straight to the point, which is a great way to handle people who don't know how to respect your boundaries. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications so you know every time I put out a video.
Hi, this is Tochi's video, and today you're gonna eat an apple pie.